The pulse of unity. Years 2026, and the air over the continent carries a new frequency. It is the sound of 1 billion hearts finding the same rhythm. On the great screens of the command center, the old lines of division begin to fail. The borders of Africa, once rigid and scarred, start to melt. A surge of liquid gold flows through the digital topography, turning the map into a glowing, interconnected neural network of light and hope. In the heart of Lagos, the Great Link is being forged. Efua, the lead architect of the Unity Protocol, works in a sphere of silence. Her hands move with the precision of a weaver, but she does not use thread. She weaves data. Holographic Adinkra symbols, Gyenyame for the supremacy of the spirit, and Sesevo Panyin for wisdom, spin around her, translated into billions of lines of sentient code that will power a continent's soul. Distance is becoming a memory. Thabo sits within the pressurized cabin of a Hyperloop pod, the hum of magnetic levitation vibrating in his chest. Outside, the landscape of Giza is a blur of ancient majesty and futuristic steel. The pod streaks past the pyramids at Mach 1, a silver needle sewing together the north and the south in a matter of hours, making the vastness of the land feel like a single neighborhood. The world holds its breath as the Afro standard currency goes live. In the financial districts of New York, Tokyo, and London, the reaction is instantaneous. Silas, a senior analyst, stares at his terminal as the numbers defy gravity. For the first time in history, the global markets do not tremble at African news. They soar. The world's wealth is being recalibrated by the pulse of a unified giant. Behind the closed doors of the Global Assembly, the atmosphere is heavy with the weight of change. President Elena, once the voice of a skeptical West, sits in stunned silence. She watches the live broadcast from Addis Ababa, her hands clasped tightly. The power dynamic of the planet has shifted in a single afternoon, and the old guards find themselves speechless in the shadow of a new sun. The music of the revolution is a paradox. Kaito sits atop a skyscraper in Nairobi, his fingers plucking the strings of a kora made of carbon fiber and light. The ancient melodies of the savannah are layered over shepherd tones, auditory illusions that create a feeling of constant, infinite ascent. The sound rises higher and higher, an orchestral climax that signals the arrival of a future that refuses to descend. The moment of convergence arrives at the Great Plaza. Efua and Thabo stand together on the high dais, looking out over a sea of people. Above them, the 54 flags of the individual nations begin to shift. They do not disappear, they merge. The colors bleed into one another, swirling upward into the sky until they coalesce into a single, minimalist golden lion's mane crest. Little Nia walks toward the central monument of the new capital. The crest is no longer just a digital image. It is etched into the very foundation of the earth. She reaches out a small hand to touch the cold, polished gold of the lion's mane. Every strand of the mane represents a different history, a different language, now bound together by a common purpose. The celebration erupts from Dakar to Djibouti. Efua stands in the center of the cheering crowds, her work complete. The shepherd tones reach their peak, a sonic representation of a continent that has finally found its voice. Drones fill the night sky, mirroring the golden neural network she first saw on her screen, proving that the pulse of unity is now the heartbeat of the world. Thabo kneels beside Nia, showing her a small, handheld projector. A vision of the next century flickers into life, a world of green cities, infinite energy, and the wisdom of the elders integrated into the minds of the young. This is not the end of a journey, but the first step into a history that belongs to them. The pulse is steady, the unity is absolute.